You know how he does oh my god, the Denzel impersonation. He said, I ain't putting that straight. Like, so maybe that was it, because I was like, I was looking for a little piece of that. I mean, Shamira. I mean,
yeah, there's no way. And I'm glad that I haven't watched. I'm glad I'm not a fan of the Andrew Garfield ones, because that would bother me. That would bother me without a doubt. That would bother me. So
like, come on, yo.
I'm quite glad.
And he did kind of become more like of a gentle spirit after he changed back, but I felt like, yeah, his transformation needed to be, that bothered me. Like, I was like, that the fact that the spell ain't work and the Jamie Foxx being too cool with a fade and all of that bothered me. But once I felt like, okay, actually when he was dying, he had become more cool. He had become, you know what I mean, this different kind of, like, he had a little more swag and stuff like that. So fine.
Right.
But still, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm glad I didn't know about that. But then there was Sandman too, and Sandman, honestly, I don't, because Sandman, if I'm mistaken, was in Spider-Man 3, and I don't really have unless I'm mistaken, he might have been in part 2, but I think he's in 3.
He was in the one with Venom.
Yeah, that was part 3, and that is, I don't like to think about that film.
I did see that. It was too much going on.
Movies I've ever seen in my life.
It was too much going on. Even when they did the recap, when I watched the recap, I was like, all that was going on? Wow, that was all like
that was, I could not stand that movie. But that said, like, yeah, then there was Sandman, and I was kind of like, I don't really remember you, Sandman, but all right, I'm here for the ride. I do remember it was a whole thing about his daughter. So I was like, all right, cool. You here. I guess he's not really a villain. He's just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. I don't know, whatever.
Like, he was a villain, but then he was like, nah, like, this too rich for my blood, and like got out of there. I think it was
and I like they brought back, I like the whole thing with the lizard with Dr. Connors, where like he just wasn't saying nothing for a while, and then after a while they were like, oh, you can talk?
Yeah, that was funny. And I couldn't really remember his character as much. Like, I did a little bit, but I was like,
he was in the Andrew Garfield, I think he was the villain in the first one, if I'm not mistaken, or he might have been in the Jamie Foxx one.
He was like, oh yeah, he was, because he was the partner. He was
in the first one or the second one of the Andrew Garfield ones.
I don't know which one it was. Might have been the first one, because it dealt with him finding out about his parents or something.
Yeah, I think the first one, I've never really seen the second one, so yeah.
I don't know, but I do remember now, because he was trying to like regrow his arm or something. That was what the research was, but he couldn't figure out why it didn't work on him. But it was because, I guess, you know, Andrew Garfield's dad used his own blood. That's why it only worked on him. And not,
yeah, I vaguely remember that. My recollection of that character is more from the animated series, because he was a big part of the animated series. He was he was in several episodes, and his whole thing is like, he was kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde character, whereas like the doctor was like, you know, good and trying to help people, but then the lizard would come out and was like, oh, can you contain the lizard? And so it was always about trying to reconcile the two sort of personas, you know, trying to merge them into one so he could like be all right, but the lizard just wants everybody to be lizards, and you know, so it was like a whole thing. Weird. Yeah, so I liked that he didn't speak. I liked that he was just there chilling until he decided he wanted to speak, and they were like, you can talk.
Yeah, like,
that was a good joke. I like that.
Watching, that was cool though.
Yeah, so that was cool. I thought that was well done. I also love the goblin thing. I love that Norman was still fighting the goblin. Do you think his motive the whole time was to come for Spider-Man in that way? Do you think that was his whole MO, or do you think he really was like, oh, I'm fighting these demons in my head, I need some help, let me go see May at the thing? Like, what do you think was
at first? Yeah, but no, in hindsight, no. I think it was a setup from the jump. Now, when he was in the alley and he broke the mask, I thought at that point he really was him, you know, himself. Right. But then in hindsight, I'm like, maybe he wasn't. Maybe it was just about him breaking the mask, because the mask was like restricting him. He like, I don't need the mask to be this. You know what I mean? It could have been that, or it could have been, could have been a separation of the, you know, the character, like Willem Dafoe, like him separating from the Green Goblin. You know what I mean? Like it's 3 pieces, right? Maybe it's actually 3 pieces. It's or not 3 pieces, but it's 2 personalities. But you have his regular personality and you have the Green Goblin, but the Green Goblin is not in the suit. The Green Goblin is in him. So the suit could be like, you know, he's like, I don't need you. I can move around without the mask. You know what I mean?
I am me no matter what.
But I don't know. I did feel like part of me felt like that really was him right there. But oh, I definitely think though, like the Aunt May and tricking her and all that, unless he let him come out during that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Like, was he still fighting in that moment that he went to see Aunt May? Was it a fight for control of his psyche up until the moment that it broke through? Because also, here's the thing. Peter's spidey sense didn't tingle until that very specific moment in the condo. Remember, there was that moment where his spidey sense is tingling and he's like trying to suss out what's going on, who is it, where is it, what's happening, and he figures out this goblin. So was it just that in that moment Goblin's intentions were to harm somebody and the spidey sense kicked in? Or was it that the spidey sense kicked in because he felt that psychological, or what is it? I guess it was a psychological switch. Or was, you know, so is that an indication of the fact that there was no evil goblin that he was still fighting up until the moment Peter felt it?
Maybe, but I'm gonna tell you why. It was, to my understand, like he said that in the speech though. He was like, and she did just what I wanted her to do, or something like that. You know, he said that, like he broke. But here's the thing: perhaps evil goblin is a matter of who's in the driver's seat, but who pulling the strings.
Yeah.
So maybe goodish goblin was in the driver's seat, was driving. But he was driving him.
Yeah, I can see that.
He didn't surface where he took control of the driver's seat. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that, yeah.
Or let him think he was in control.
Right.
But like did you see and I love these type of, I'm telling you that Willem Dafoe, that acting another level. Yeah. Like that character, the Green Goblin, that thing, man, it's going on my top villain list. It's going on my top villain list because, like, come on. Right. Okay. I was blown away. But I do think, like, even did you ever watch Black Lightning?
No, I've never actually watched it. I need to watch
Black Lightning. I love Black Lightning. It's one of my favorites. And it's not like, I just love it. I love it just like, you know, whole bunch of Black folks, superheroes, and I like that the storylines feel like real authentic Black people in storylines. That's what I like about it. And it's middle upper class family, so it's giving you different varying degrees of what it's like to be kind of like. And it isn't like, again, like the greatest show or the greatest superhero show, but I like it because I just feel like it's Black people being Black, and I like when it's just not a show with Black people, but shows that reflect the real Black experience. Maybe we'll review it once you watch it. Maybe we'll review that one. And like, even what I was going to say, there's a character on there, Khalil, who has this internal battle, and it's all about who's in the driver's seat because he becomes Painkiller, and then Painkiller and like him, his real personality, they're like fighting. And eventually, they like, you know, well, I don't want. Sorry, it might be a baby spoiler, but how?
Don't spoil it for me.
I mean, I ain't gonna spoil it, but I'm just saying, like, it's like it's that kind of similar dynamic after a while. But and that's on a lot of shows, you know what I mean? Well, not a lot of shows, but like that's a recurring theme. Like you'll see that. But I thought it was done masterfully. I felt like the moment Willem Dafoe came on the screen, the whole stuff, like it just everything had to step up at that point, and it did. Like, you know what I mean? From that point on, it was no looking back. You know what I mean? It was like,
and I think that's the beauty of having that caliber of actor in a comic book movie. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that kind of movie would be successful without these incredible actors who know how to like take a part and take a role and like break it down to the meat and potatoes and like really get into it in that way. Because you think about it, you've got, what is it, 3 Oscar winners in this? Like Alfred Molina, Jamie Foxx, and Willem Dafoe. Now, I don't know, maybe they haven't all won, but they've definitely all been nominated. So like you've got like cream of the crop in these roles, just like.
But as the movie, from this point on, the acting from every single person. I mean, despite, you know, we getting there, but everyone, to me, Zendaya, everybody had their moment. After, it was like, at first it was like weird, like this ain't make sense, that ain't make sense. But once we hit this turning point right here, once that Spidey sense kicked in the Green Goblin was like, after that, I was like this.
Yeah, it was, that was
taking it back.
Some phenomenal performances. Every
single scene after that, just about like, so boom. So you got, you know, Spidey sense here, and I'm like, he like, hold that little something. But to your point, like, I don't know, but I do feel like that would be my answer, that perhaps he was still, because he gave that whole monologue about how like basically he tricked them.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I was going to ask you too, what did you think of that whole storyline of Peter trying to cure them, of Peter being like, no, Doctor Strange, I can help all of these people. Like, what did you think of that? Excuse me. Ooh, she been drinking.
What you was drinking?
Hard seltzer, you know, that's my go-to. It's either wine or hard seltzer.
You had a hard seltzer and I've been sitting here with nothing this whole time.
I thought you was drinking something.
No, I was asking where. All right, I'm getting some wine. Hold up.
Oh wait, she got the bottle right there. Wait a minute. I wasn't ready. I was legit about to be like, oh, I don't think we should pause again. She reached over out of frame and pulled in a bottle. That's my girl.
First of all, let me go downstairs and get a glass. Just a little bit.
Now I want some wine.
Well, you've been over there getting seltzered out.
Oh, now but I'm craving wine now. What time is it? People still delivering.
Nobody really want to be drinking my wine on the screen though. Hold up.
Why not? It's like a classy thing. That's like a thing. Wait, you just blurred. Did you blip?
I blipped. Sure. Okay. Oh, Shamira.
Ronnetta, come back. No.
Oh my God. Where was I?
No.
Where was I? The yellow chair pulled me in. The yellow monster got me.
I don't want to go, Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark. I don't want to go, Mr. Stark.
I can't. That whole thing.
People like quick sidetrack into Endgame. No, not Endgame. That would be the second to last Avengers. What was that? Not Endgame. Infinity War. Oh my God, Infinity War.
I get confused by them, I'm being honest.
Infinity War and then Endgame. So Infinity War, when Thanos dusted people. So I used to work in a movie theater. So I'm in the theater listening to people's reactions like 8 hours a fucking day. And every single time people would wail. And I was in a theater in Brooklyn. So you got like old Black ladies wailing when Spider-Man gets blipped, as if they just like their son just got killed. Like we in Boys in the Hood, like people that would have been throwing themselves on his like, you know, proverbial casket. Like people were wailing over Spider-Man getting blipped. I was like, yo, this is insane.
It was wild. I was like,
yeah, people were wailing, screaming, crying. Like this is.
I was acting like I didn't act quite the same, but I was talking at that screen when this next serious moment happens. I was talking at that screen, sis. Okay.
Oh, you talking about this one and No Way Home? Well, let's get back to it. So then, so we've seen Goblin. You know, they've gone. Goblin has gone.
But you did ask about.
Yes.
I don't know. I was like, all right, fine. Like, all right, he want to carry him, I guess. If it was like they won't go back and die, I was like, all right.
But here's my question. We
Okay.
might need TJ to weigh in on this, okay? I need a true believer to convince me on this one. My question, so to our understanding, right? They go back to their universes at the moment, whatever moment they were last there. So like everybody's gonna go back to like if you were in the middle of peeing, you go back to being in the middle of peeing. If you were eating dinner, you go back to eating dinner. If you were dead, you go back to being dead. My question is, even if he cures them, don't they still go back to being dead? They're dead.
No, it was the moment before they died.
Reversing time, he's not rewriting the universe. To my understanding, he's sending them back to the last point that they were at. So what?
No, they wasn't. It wasn't the last point. It was the moment before they died.
So for these guys specifically. So wait, then now we jumping ahead a little bit. So if they're going back to the moment they died, where the fuck were Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire? Like, where's the other two Spider-Man, the other two Peter Parker? Were they dead? Are these two Peter Parkers? So if that's the logic of this spell, is that it pulled motherfuckers in from right before the moment they died, are Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man dead?
No, I don't think it's the moment that they died. I think it pulled them back from that moment, the moment that the villain was dying. The moment right before the...
But that also doesn't quite make sense, right? Because some of the lore that was in that, because even Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is...
He had lived a little bit. He had lived.
Huh?
Yeah, it pulled them from different times. That ain't make sense.
But that's what I'm saying. Do we know it pulled? So did it pull them from different times, or did it pull everybody from their moment of death?
Could have been. Right, the moment right before they died? Could have been. Because, I mean, I don't know, because here's the thing. I know for a fact every last one of the villains was the moment before they died.
Mm-hmm.
The moment before, not the moment of, but like right.
But wait, here's my other question. Is Sandman dead?
No, I don't think so.
We gotta look that up. Sandman, because Sandman and Doc Connors.
He got out of there. No, Sandman just kind of like got out of there, like from what I remember.
Spider-Man 3 is Sandman dead. Oh, Spider-Man 3, Sandman death. So I guess he did die. What happened to Sandman? Is he dead? And this is from 2020. So this is
no, but this one says he does not die. In an emotional scene, Flint reveals his life story to Peter, and he apologized for accidentally killing Uncle Ben. Flint explains that it's been weighing on him since, and Peter forgives him, letting him float off into the distance. He did not die.
So he's alive. So it just pulled people from random points? That makes less sense. Yeah, this one says, Sandman also broke a tradition in Raimi's trilogy as his death wasn't shown on screen, leaving fans questioning what happened to him after the movie ended. So he may or may not have died. So,
according to Doctor Strange, in No Way Home, all the villains in No Way Home died in their respective universes fighting Spider-Man, but Sandman was A-okay at the end of Spider-Man 3. This brings up a lot of questions concerning what happened to that version of Sandman and where exactly these villains are from. It also submits that these foes may not be exactly who audiences think they are.
Huh?
So maybe they might be from a different universe. Because that's what my brother said too about Electro, like he might have been from it might be a different version.
Oh, maybe that.
And I was just like, that's too convenient of an answer
to accept. Let me see. Did the lizard die in The Amazing Spider-Man? Let's see. Okay, that's hold on, give me 1 second. The way I spell,
giving up his life a crime.
Unlike other classic Spider-Man villains, the lizard managed to escape death. In The Amazing Spider-Man in the 2012 film, Dr. Kirk Connors, well, then it goes into who Dr. Kirk Connors is, but apparently he didn't die. So Dr. Kirk Connors and the Sandman are alive. So, okay, so fine. So maybe they're not all dead, or as you said, maybe these are different versions of them from different universes. But yeah, that was my only thing is like, because their whole thing was like, oh, if we send them back, they're just going back to their death. And I'm like, aren't they going back to their death either way? Like,
No, it was just,
Osborn and Doc Ock are dead. Don't they go back to being dead?
no, they didn't.
Cures them.
But they weren't dead. It was before they died, the moment before their death.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So if he sends them back to the moment before their death and they have now been cured and
no, I'm not trying to kill you no more. No. Like,
and Spider-Man still fucking kills him. He's like, fuck you.
Maybe.
10 seconds ago, you would try to kill me, motherfucker. But no, actually, that makes a lot more sense. Because then if it is a Spider-Man from that universe, they would know one another. And they would be able to know each other and know, like, all right, wait.
But even not, it's just giving them a chance. Because if they go back evil, it's no chance. But if they go back, maybe they can plead their case type of thing. And also just not kill somebody else. But to me, the timeline still is low-key off. It's no rhyme or reason to the shit. Like, it's just magical chaos.
But I'm more okay with that because I'm okay with that. Because on the one hand, it's like if they come from all the same time period, then that is to suggest that the spell pulled everybody from one very specific point, and then all that logic has to sync up. But otherwise, then it's just a spell of chaos and everybody came from where they came from, and I'm fine with that too. But that said, okay, you have sold me true believer. That makes sense.
I don't know if I fully buy it, but that's all I got. I think
I'm on board with that. They go back to once they came and they got 10 seconds to plead their case to whatever Spider-Man they end up in front of. All right.
That's how I saw that, because it's like at least you do have a chance. Because every last one of them before they died, they was doing some
dumb shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say some F shit, but yeah, like they was exactly like they was on some like probably about to drop a school bus of kids or something, you know what I mean? Like, they was the most. Like they was doing the most, the absolute fucking most. So it's like,
but can you imagine being that Spider-Man, right? Because again, assuming that the timelines are slightly off and that we got an Andrew Garfield and a Tobey Maguire from a timeline that's farther ahead, their younger selves have no knowledge of what just happened in this alternate universe. So when these villains get back, you really have like all of 10 seconds before your death to like plead your case. And you imagine being that Spider-Man to be like, what? How am I supposed
to? But you just killed somebody, like, yeah. But if you're guaranteed to die, this just gives you at least a little bit of a chance. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
More chance than you had. Where's my glasses? More chance than you had. So
fair enough. I can get behind
that. I think that's definitely a plot hole though. Because even I'm reading this article and they like, I mean, one option is this one. They said even something about, let me see, Jamie Foxx's character too, that I was kind of like, they said there's no way he could be the same Max Dillon. This is both in the design based more on the classic Electro. His design from the video game, there's no way he could be the same Max Dillon. On top of that, they saying maybe he was designed off of the video game version, Electro, maybe.
Which would be an entirely different universe.
That I did is back up by the fact that Jamie Foxx Electro is clearly a different version than the one that fought Andrew Garfield's version. Yeah, because he was blue.
And the one, what did he look like in the Andrew Garfield version? So he's blue in the Andrew Garfield version, and this version was, I don't fully remember.
He was just regular, like a regular person.
Oh, so he didn't have like a person shape or something, or he did, or
he was shaped like a blue. He looked like a blue person,
like the genie.
Yeah, look, hold up. Like this shit. Yeah, like I showed you. I'm gonna click it on it again. Hold on. That's what he looked like.
I'm gonna pull up the new Electro so I can see him side by side. Spider-Man. Ooh, I cannot spell.
Look, see it?
Ew. Ew, yeah.
He's blue. He went from this to this.
Yuck. And you're right. Oh, you're right. I guess he is like a regular person looking thing now. Like he just looks like a human.
Right.
Oh. Because now this, oh no, can't bring up that image.
I'm gonna see if somebody else has figured it out. Let's see. Why does Jamie Foxx? Yeah, but they're saying maybe that's like an Easter egg, like maybe that Jamie Foxx is from a different universe. And that's what my brother said too. I'm be honest.
I can buy that. That makes sense. Because I also feel like they're not done with the multiverse. Especially with those post-credit scenes. Like,
okay, so 5 hours ago, apparently he answered it.
Jamie Foxx did?
Yeah. In an interview with Marvel, Foxx discussed returning to the role, scientist turned supervillain Max Dillon, and he redesigned the character. And the redesign the character went through upon joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When asked how he brought Electro's new look to life, Foxx answered that was the whole team, a whole Spider-Man team on how to make this guy cool. How do we make him impactful, but make him a little more grounded? When he acquired some abilities, it made sense in a way that he was to protect himself. Upon gaining superpowers and becoming Electro, his skin turns an ethereal glowing blue, similar to how the character was depicted in the comic series Ultimate Spider-Man. In No Way Home, Electro looks far more like Foxx himself and spends most of the film wearing a recovered electrician's uniform. Exactly. It's electrician chic, Foxx said in a costume. What I'm saying is that it's fly. Exactly. I literally said, why do he look so cool? Like that was.
So is the answer because Jamie Foxx wanted it that way? Or
no,
like,
he said it was the whole team. It's not a cape or anything like that. I really dug that. That's cool because it keeps it practical. Practical magic is what you could call it. Practical magic is what you could call it because he's so practical. When he put that CGI on it, we were really gifted in the way the costume lit up in a wink and nod to the comic book character. That gives us room so that when we strap it up again, it's like, yo, maybe I might need to get a costume to go with this. What? This doesn't answer my question, Jamie Foxx.
Well, listen, that said, you might be right about them bringing in the video game one because I don't think they're done with the multiverse because on Marvel's slate, one of the things they have is Marvel Zombies, which is going to be an entirely separate universe. So if they're doing that, that's an entirely separate universe. They're doing Marvel season 2 of What If, which is its own universe too. But
so he says, and the fact that I'm coming into this universe, you do this new universe, and I look different. Okay, the fact that I'm coming into this new universe, I guess it could be he could be talking about the Spider-Man universes, and I look different. And the fact that they were able to craft something that was slick, simplified, but cool. Yeah, he got to be a different one because he was blue. He was freaking blue. Like,
was he blue in the beginning? No, right?
No, he looked like that person I showed you.
Huh. Okay.
Are you saying did he immediately turn blue?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like when we first see him in the woods, before he puts on the arc reactor, before he's zapped toward Doctor Strange. But I guess that doesn't matter because then he takes human form again. And that Electro never took a human form, right? Like the one that was in the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I don't think so. Hold on, can you hear that? I don't think so.
So if he never took a human form, then you might
remember. See, remember I texted you and I said I have to like rewatch the Jamie Foxx one to see if I was wrong about this is what I was talking about specifically. Y'all can answer it. Look, it's somebody that knows the answer to this, okay? And they're probably gonna be like,
the answer. Please comment, please help us. Like, or I mean, because real talk, it's probably not going to be a definitive answer. It's going to be fan speculation at this point. Unless we get like a Marvel executive who's like, I am the answer. Great.
Yeah, I mean, no, I was trying to like whether or not what I wanted to specifically find out before I passed judgment on it was whether or not Jamie Foxx, when he played in the original one, if he was in not blue and blue at the same, you know what I mean? Was he just always blue from the moment he got electrocuted? You know what I'm saying? From the moment he became
like he gets back and forth.
Is that?
Well,
but I don't think he can.
At one point, say in the movie, "Oh, I'm in human form now." He's like, "I got my human form back," something like that. He says
girl,
that.
you gotta watch it because it's a whole scene, girl. I'm surprised you ain't watched this. It's a whole scene where Jamie Foxx comes out. He don't know what's wrong with him. He's blue.
Well, why don't we look? This is what we'll do. We'll pause this, and we can, or we can keep recording, and you can just, I'll just watch it, and we can just record my reaction.
So we watched the clips of the Jamie Foxx. He's clearly a blue man on it. Clearly. And I think he's a blue man the whole time.
Yeah.
So this Jamie Foxx has got to be from a different universe.
Yeah, he looks entirely different. And this has confirmed for me that I did not watch Amazing Spider-Man 2. I've never seen it. I was watching this, I was like, I've never seen any of this.
That's what I'm like, how did you miss blue man in a hoodie getting shot at by the police?
I saw that trailer and I was like, this is like garbage. I'm not watching it. While I didn't watch the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man. I didn't watch the first one right away. I've seen that subsequently. Like I think I saw that earlier this year or maybe the year before or something like that.
Why not? Did you feel like it was too soon?
Yeah, I felt like it was too soon. Also, it didn't look good to me. It didn't look like, because especially because we had Tobey Maguire first. Right? We had Tobey Maguire first. That brings us into his universe. If you're just joining the Spider-Man, lore or whatever, like you that's your first experience of him. And we have these great two Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies that then end with Spider-Man 3, which is, in my opinion, one of the worst films ever made ever. I have never had such a passionate hate for a film. I hated that movie. Hated it. I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to think about it. I don't like to pretend it exists. I like to pretend that it doesn't exist. So we go from that into a new Spider-Man universe. So that left a bad taste in my mouth, right? We're at Spider-Man 3. That's what I'm left with. And then a few years later, like, it's like, oh, now we're rebooting it. And
it was so fast. It was so fast. And maybe it wasn't that fast, but in my mind, it was fast.
It did feel fast.
Even this one, it was just like, what is up with them? Like, what is going on with this? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree, but I will say, in my opinion now, Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man. These movies are my favorite Spider-Man movies. My second favorite is Tobey Maguire. And Andrew Garfield, I will say,
but you haven't even watched it.
Huh? I watched the first one. So for me, he did not rank. Like, I didn't give a shit about Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man until this one. This one, in my opinion, for my taste, my liking, what I needed, he redeemed himself. A lot of people say there was no redemption needed. Fine. But for me, he redeemed himself. And we'll get to that in a second. But like, yeah, I didn't like him as Spider-Man. I felt like his Spider-Man was not just awkward, but it felt, it honestly, if I'm being honest, it felt to me like something was off with his Spider-Man. I was like, does his Spider-Man have a social disorder or what's going on here? Which is fine if that's what it is, but like, it just didn't feel like the Spider-Man I knew. And I felt like his choices, his acting choices for how he played an awkward teenager were just so far out there. It didn't feel like an awkward teenager to me. It felt like somebody who might have had a social disorder, which it is what it is.
I just think that his take on that was different. Like, that's what I'm saying. I think it was, the character choice was different. I didn't mind it. I actually liked it. I don't know why.
A lot of people liked it. I was not one of those people. I could not stand it. I didn't like it. I was like, I'm not here for this. Like, I wasn't about that life. And Gwen Stacy got on my nerves. So I was like, I don't like these movies. Like, why am I here?
That like like that particular character, no matter what that character is in, it gets on my nerves.
I agree. And I think that Emma Stone is better than that role. Like, Emma Stone's been in tons of things, and I think she's a really phenomenal actress, and I think she has a lot more substance than what they allowed her to play with Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy was very, oh no, I need my Spider-Man to save me. Oh, I'm soft and demure. Look at me. I don't know how to function without a big strong man to save me. Oh.
That's what she was given
to me. Yeah, that's what she was given to me, and it was irking. It was irking. She was too soft. Now, granted, as a comic book nerd, in the comic books, Gwen Stacy is a lot more of your classic damsel in distress. She's a lot more demure, whereas Mary Jane kind of holds her own. Mary Jane is more fiery, sassy, more opinionated. Gwen Stacy was more of just, in my opinion, just a girlfriend character, whereas Mary Jane got more fully rounded sort of comic book life, if that makes sense. So I think that's also why I was irritated by it. I was like, I don't want to see this much of Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy doesn't interest me as much. I think they could have done more with her character. And sidebar, the reason why I think she lacks such substance is because in the comic book, she dies pretty early on in the comic book franchise. So you don't get a lot of her backstory, or you don't get a lot of Gwen Stacy. So I think they were kind of trying to just make something out of this character. And for me, it fell flat. I didn't like it. And so Gwen Stacy and Andrew Garfield's portrayal of Spider-Man put me off from those movies. I was just like, I'm not,
Yeah, I think it's because probably carried in, like, to me, I literally, a lot of these movies, I be just watching them at face value, each one individually. And so I just took it as, okay, this is a choice. And I didn't mind it. And I thought his acting chops were low-key off their chains in some instances. Like, I thought he like really went there, especially because, you know, what happens with Gwen Stacy. You know what I'm saying? Like that was great. And I love, and of course we'll get to that, how they address that. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I will say I think Andrew Garfield is a phenomenal actor. Like, one of my favorite things he's ever been in is Never Let Me Go. I love that film. It's so good. You would love it, I think. I think you would really like it.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, you gotta look that up. I really like Andrew Garfield, but that also put me off. I like Andrew Garfield. I like Emma Stone, and in this, I was like, ew.
Really?
What are you doing? I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me.
I didn't think that they were like, or when I think, I don't know, I can't remember like all the way. Don't think they were like the best things I've ever seen, but I like the alternate choices with Spider-Man, and I liked that it was a little darker in a way. You know what I'm saying? He was giving me more like not Daredevil. What's the one? Is it Daredevil?
Maybe. Oh, we totally skipped over that, by the way, that Daredevil makes an appearance in this.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about Daredevil. Oh my, I was beyond, I love Daredevil, first of all. For me, it's gonna be that Daredevil and no other Daredevil. And even when it comes to the entire like Marvel on Netflix universes, for me, it's Daredevil. It's Luke Cage by default, because
this is great.
Because you know how my girl Issa say, I'm rooting for everybody black. Point blank. Right. Point blank. Period.
Superheroes.
Don't ask me to explain because it doesn't make logical sense. Just know I'm rooting for everybody black. Just relax, okay? Just relax. So that's always gonna be my default. However, even with that being said, I love a Daredevil, and I love that he was in this movie, and I love that he reached out to grab the thing. Like, I'm so here. Listen, Jessica Jones and them. My brother's like, I can never watch whatever the dragon. Into the Dragon or something with the fist, Iron Fist.
Oh, Iron Fist.
Iron Fist was irky a little bit, but Daredevil was just so well done. So I love that cameo. It was kind of given. It was given like obviously it wasn't a Stan Lee cameo, but it was given. You know what I mean? It felt like that's what it was. I mean, and not that was the intent, but like, did we lose Shamira? Hello. Hello?
Wait, pause. I'm still here in spirit. What the hell just happened? It's telling me to charge my phone.
I'm not pausing.
But my phone has been on the charger this whole time, but it's like, charge your phone. Wow. All right. Well, I guess now I have to use
All right, let me pause it. Let me pause it, bring you back in.
Pause. Let's see if we can get my phone back up. Wow.
How your phone doing? Is it back on?
So my phone died. So now I'm in an entirely different universe, y'all.
Speaking of them alternate universe, we was talking too much trash about them storylines not making sense. That's how they're gonna be talking about this video. The video.
Like first she ain't had no jacket on, then she had a jacket on. Then all of a sudden she disappeared. And next thing you know, she an entirely different screen with different quality. Like, wow.
Like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's how it works.
Oh wow.
But I don't know. Great cameo from there. We don't even remember where we was, but great cameo from Daredevil. That was dope.
Yes, Daredevil.
So what was next? Oh. You already know. When is that when so we dealt with Goblin. Oh, so we had got sidetracked about like Jamie Foxx and all of that.
That's where we left off. I think we're on. They already met May, so they blipped back to the thing, and now he's trying to cure them.
Oh, they
not blip, but you know what I mean.
They're at Happy House.
Right, we're going to the part where they're at Happy House. Which, since we're on that, what did you think of them leaving Kurt Connors, the lizard, in the truck? I thought that was dumb to begin with. Why would you leave? Like, I didn't. That was one of the things I feel like I couldn't reconcile. Why the fuck would you leave him in the truck?
Maybe because he was just giving the animal like you know what I mean, like just leave him in here. Don't make sense. He ain't really with it anyway, so just leave him here. I don't know. It was just.
But that was such a poor choice because it's like obviously he is going to turn on you. You left him in the truck, not even turning on y'all. What if this motherfucker decided he was going to bust out of the truck? Because it's not an armored truck. It's a fucking homeless shelter meal service truck. Like, what if he decided he's going to bust out the truck and go kill a bunch of people? That to me was one of the things I couldn't forgive. I'm just like, nah, this doesn't make no sense.
They just was doing shit, okay? But no, I see a world where he was like, I'm not going.
And that's probably what happened. He probably resisted. He was like, nah. And they were probably like, well, we can't fight this motherfucker.
No, because he probably was like, whatever y'all walking into, I don't want no parts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like,
in my opinion, like y'all should have left him in that cage then. Because what the fuck are you doing? Like, yeah.
But I could see him being like, all right, everybody, let's go. Because he wants to see, but he don't want to be directly involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't think the shit gonna work, but just in case it do work, I feel like he want to be close. So
I guess, and that's logical, but I'm just like, so y'all left him in the truck?
It was a little random.
Terrible decision. Left him in the truck unguarded. Like,
that was a little.
That should have been the moment where he was like, where Spider-Man was like, "You're coming upstairs, or else I'm pressing this button," or Mary Jane's pressing the button. Whoever had it, because did Mary Jane still had it at that point, right? Or did she?
What?
The button, the reset button to send them all back.
Yeah, I think so. They still had it because
whoever still had the button at that point, like that should have been. It's like you either getting out of this truck and coming upstairs where we can keep an eye on you, or I'm pressing this button. Also, we glossed over the mirror universe. We didn't even talk about that. Where Doctor Strange, where Spider-Man where he decides he's gonna cure them, and Doctor Strange is like, nah, and Spider-Man is like, yeah, and he's like, nah.
So that happened what? Right before that? That happened before that?
Yeah, pretty much right before that.
Oh yeah, that was. I mean, what the mirror universe has always got. I'm always like, so what's up with the mirror universe again? Even though I think that's probably how I be thinking there's a lot of truth in these movies. So I'd be like, I definitely think probably low-key is a mirror universe.
So you think that's how the mirror universe would be like?
Kinda. I mean, maybe.
Do you think somebody would be able to manipulate it in that way?
Yeah. Just like you probably can manipulate this universe if you knew how.
True.
You know
and then what I liked about that too was that Spider-Man was like, oh, this is all just geometry.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
That was a dope moment. He was like, oh, this shit's just math. Oh, so
he's like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, I love that. I thought it was a dope moment because I do love Doctor Strange. Again.
Mm-hmm.
What they call them, cumber bitches? Don't they call them cumber bitches?
Cumber bitches?
I
hadn't heard of that, but
I swear that's what they call his fans. Look, hold up.
Cumber bitches. All right.
Let's see. Fans name.
Never floats your cumber boat.
Yeah, literally, in fact, several of Cumberbatch's female fans refer to themselves as cumber bitches. As clever as the wordplay may be, there's one person who's definitely not okay with the moniker, and that's Cumberbatch himself.
Wow.
Yeah,
he's like, please no.
He's like not cumber bitches. Like what?
That's like, did you hear about that Keanu Reeves interview where they were talking about that video game where people were like hacking the game? Because so there's a Keanu Reeves character in the game, and people were hacking the game so that they could fuck Keanu Reeves' character. And somebody in an interview asked Keanu Reeves how he felt about it, and he was so flattered. It was really cute. You gotta watch the interview. He was so flattered.
Yeah, anytime people are hacking into a game, think it's kind of cool. Is that exactly?
That's pretty much how it was. He was like, it's nice when things are like, nice. Like,
like what's that? Like Keanu. It's like, we have an echo. It's like his head vibrates to the echo. Like, yeah.
It's like, Keanu, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, shut up and take your clothes off, Keanu. I'm bringing you here for conversation.
Keanu bitches? No. Keanu bitches? No.
Oh, God.
We got anything going for it. But I did think that was cool, though. I did think the Mirror Universe was cute.
Mm. I do like the part where he like knocked Spider-Man's soul out of him, and Spider-Man was still able to be like,
And you know what it reminded me of? A scene from one of my favorite movies, Chronicles of Riddick.
Okay.
There's a scene. I tell you what, when I saw it in the movies, right, for the first time, there's a scene where it's this like guy who knocks like this guy's soul out like this. He hits him so hard and his soul jumps out. Very similar to like what happened with him. And I'm in the movies and it's this guy behind me. He springs out, "Oh, hey, your soul got low." And I just
wait, what? Your soul got what?
Low. Like in Baltimore, we say like, "Yo, he got low," like he got out of there, like he
oh shit.
Like he got low in the police, like he got low, like he got out of there. It's like I don't know if they only say that in Baltimore, but like, oh yeah, soul got low, like the soul got out of there. Like, so I always thought that was funny. So anyway, when I saw that scene, funny enough you would say that, I thought about that exact moment because that's one of my favorite moments. It was really good moment. Yeah, but that was dope. And how he was like, how are you doing that? And he's like, I don't know.
And that's my question too. How was he doing that? Is that going to come back into play? How the fuck was he doing that?
Me and my brother talked about that because he said that. So my theory on that was that, okay, so you know how his spidey sense or whatever was maybe off or something like that, I guess. I was like, maybe it has to do with his spidey sense because he was like, we talked about how when he went into spidey mode, it was like his heart was pounding like almost like anxiety. Most people would be frantic with anxiety, but he's able to be calm and collect amongst, even though his body's going crazy, he's able to be still and filter through it. Like when he like felt that with. So I was like, perhaps that's why it's like when most people, it's something about the way his spidey sense is set up that allow him to be calm when other people would panic and be able to be in control. He's in control of that chaos, right? Because I never even seen like what is a spidey sense. We always just like do, but to take you in that moment, I like that scene where it takes you into the spidey sense, like walking through it with him, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, you know what that makes me think of?
What?
You said you didn't watch the animated series, right?
Not really.
Okay, well, that makes me think of Madam Web. Madam Web, we have not yet seen in any of the comics, and I would love to see her. She was kind of like the way you got what is it called? Those like omnipotent dudes that like sit on the thrones. The Watchers. Is that what the fuck are they called? Every Marvel fan is gonna roast me for not knowing the name of these people. Oh Lord. They know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about? They're the ones in the What If. Have you watched Marvel What If?
No.
Oh God. Okay, you gotta watch that. But they're the ones that are in that. It's the Watcher, I think. Oh my God, they're gonna.
What is that? What is the What If?
Gonna roast me. You haven't watched Marvel What If on Disney Plus? It's really good. You should watch it.
Is it new?
It came out this year. It had one season. It's animated, but it's voiced by a lot of the actors from the films. It was Chadwick Boseman's last pieces of work. He voiced Black Panther in this series.
Oh, really?
Episodes, yeah.
Maybe it wasn't on my radar because of animated, but I'll check it out.
It's really good, but anyway, like they're like omnipotent beings who like kind of don't interfere. They just kind of sit back and watch, and they just like, y'all fucking up kind of thing. And Madam Web is kind of similar, except that she would kind of sort of interfere, and maybe not change things or interact really, but she would give Spider-Man advice and be like, you're being stupid kind of thing. But it was interesting because like I feel like she was part of his Spidey sense or something. I don't know. If you're like a Marvel fan and you can speak to Madam Web and her purpose, like please comment. And because it's been a long time since I've watched since I watched Spider-Man the animated series. And yeah, just any insight into Madam Web would be helpful to me. But yeah, that said, makes me think of Madam Web.
Okay.
I would love to see her in these movies. I kind of thought she was going to be in this, but
maybe they holding her off for the next reincarnation because it's probably gonna come out tomorrow, a whole new Spider-Man. So that's how they roll.
There you go. Also, this like brown rice is so fucking good. But anyway,
you fucking that brown rice up. I just had me some leftovers from yesterday.
Food is like the best thing ever.
Yeah, like who invented food? Like they're awesome.
That's a good question. Who did invent food?
Like, was it God? Even though God said we were only supposed to be eating like fruits and vegetables and vegetation, but since people kept whining and complaining, then he said,
gave us hamburgers.
He said you could eat some animals, but he didn't say to be doing all the crap that we're doing now. We're doing the most. So
listen, like, sorry, God, but like mac and cheese, hamburgers, like that's my shit. Sorry.
Not mac and cheese and hamburgers. That's a lot of mush. Need something crispy up in there.
And fried chicken.
That sounds like a child's meal, a side of meal.
No, I mean, have you met me? Like, I mean.
And I'm picturing like a McDonald's kid Happy Meal, but then also a side of like Kraft macaroni and cheese cup, which doesn't even taste as good as like the actual one you make in the pot. I was like, who eats?
Again, have you met me? Like, we were roommates. What did I keep in the?
I didn't understand how you ate that shit. I didn't understand like how the fuck is she?
Delicious.
That just tastes terrible.
I'm impatient. I like anything that's ready in like 5 minutes or less. I'm like, great, done, sold. I mean, I have been trying to eat better, and I've been eating really, really well at times, y'all. Like, I've been juicing, I've been eating nothing but like raw fruits and vegetables. I've been doing really well. Yeah. But that part of me that wants to eat nothing but like crappy microwave TV dinners, like kid cuisine, the part of me that just wants a kid cuisine meal is still alive and well. I just tell her to shut up most days, but then today ain't one of them days.
So even when I was a kid, I didn't eat kid cuisine because it was so nasty to me. Even when I was a kid.
With that little pocket of corn, and then you get a little brownie, and it's like a little crusty on the top and soft inside. And then you get that weird little cup of mac and cheese, and then maybe like a chicken strip that's like you're like, damn, this is still cold and it's breaded, but why is this chicken flat like a patty, but it's a chicken strip?
No, I was picky and bougie even as a child, even though we didn't have a whole bunch of money. Like, I qualified for like the free lunch at school, but I never ate it. One time when I was in like kindergarten or first grade or something, I think I might have been in first grade. I can't remember, but I used to eat, like I was like this little twig kid. Mm-hmm. And for lunch, I would bring literal saltine crackers with butter on them that I would make in the morning. And then I would have like an orange and like a piece of bologna. Back when I ate the swine, I don't eat none of that no more. But I have like a piece of bologna and like a Miss Debbie cupcake or something.
Yes. Like
so they saw me eating these crackers with butter on them, and of course they thought I was malnourished and we was poor. Like they
no.
And so they tried to force me to eat like this school lunch, and I flipped the fuck out on them. Like I wowed out. It's like I might have been like, I was always respectful, but I was still like a tourist all my life. Like, you're not gonna make me do nothing. Like, you're not gonna make a tourist do anything. Like, you're not gonna make it. You can reason with us, rational. I was never disrespectful or a bad kid, but like, what you not about to do is make me eat this nasty food. And I was in there flipping out. Like, I was like, nah. So like, I always like, now I think I'm better. Everybody like, you're not better, but I am. I'm like it's just, I control what I eat. So it's different.
I feel like your food choices are like, I feel like your food choices are fine.
But I do be like, hey, can you give me this instead of that and that instead of that? I'm definitely that person.
You're picky, but I don't feel like it's without reason. But that might also be the health conscious part of me. Because it's weird. Because, I got that health conscious part of me that was like, I only eat this organic, raw, whatever. But occasionally that part of me ramps up. This is like, I just want some Doritos with microwave cheese on top of them, with like just some ground beef and like a pickle chopped up that I got out of like a bag, and just mash it all together and eat it like that.
Ew, what?